how I paint my nails. Lately I've been getting a lot of comments and compliments whenever I have them painted. This red shade from Hansen Miracle Gel. This shade is called Ready, Set, Run. It's really pretty. It has a little bit of sparkle to it and lots of shine. With the Miracle Gel, you do 2 layers of the color and then a layer of the clear top coat. Okay, so before I actually paint my nails, I do a lot of prep work to really make the nail polish last. I took off my previous nail polish, which was actually this red color. So I'm not sure if you can see, but it doesn't actually come off everywhere that easily. So what I do first is I'm going to scrape off any extra nail polish from my nails as well as push back my cuticles with this tool. And the reason you push them back is because if there is any cuticle that's on your nail and you paint that, then the paint kind of has a point of weakness to where it can start peeling. That paint on your cuticle isn't going to adhere as well as the paint on your nail, so it'll start kind of peeling up off the cuticle and start taking all of the polish off your nail. So I always start with my thumb, and a lot of times it's between the skin and the nail that the nail polish really gets stuck. Okay, and then the next step I do is file my nails. I have this glass file I got off Amazon probably about a year ago that I absolutely love. I've been using the same one for a year and it still works great. Whenever it starts to get kind of gross, I just wash it and I can start using it again. Okay, so how I file my nails is I start at the corners. And I make sure that these corners are nice and rounded and smooth. And then after that, I just round the tip, filing in just one direction to keep the nail really smooth. And I do that until it's the length that I want. So today I'm not taking too much length off my nails. I'm really just making sure that they're nice and smooth and uniform. Okay, so now we are on our last step of prepping our nails before we finally paint them. Yay! So this is a buffer block, and I lightly buff my nails just to make sure the actual surface of my nail is nice and smooth, and it gives it just a nice spot for that polish to adhere. So I use kind of one of the medium grit sides, and then I just buff it really well, especially if there's any kind of like nail polish left over, and make sure to buff it really well, because if there's any part of your nail that's already peeling up, the polish is going to stick to the part that's peeling up, so when your nail eventually peels up, it's going to take that polish off with it. Okay, so once you rinse your hands off with water, no soap, it is time to start painting them. So I made sure to shake the bottle up really, really well, and we are going to do 2 coats of this color. So what I find is helpful is to go really slow and just enjoy this time of doing your nails. Don't rush through it because you will not be happy with the results. I also do my dominant hand first because I know it's harder for me to do. That way I don't have to worry about messing up nail polish as I'm struggling through painting my right hand. And the way I hold the brush is I put one finger on top and then two on the side, and I feel like that kind of gives me the best control. It's still hard. So I make sure there's not too much paint on the brush, and then I am going to start right in the middle of my nail. Push down to the cuticle, and then drag it back up. Then I just go really slow, and I think I actually hold my breath while I do this. Okay, so obviously it's not perfect. I don't worry too much about getting nail polish on my skin because once I'm done, it actually washes right off of the parts that you do not want it on. And that's when it looks really perfect. So now time for the next nail. So I'm holding it 2 fingers on the side, thumb on the other side, and then another finger on top. And then I make sure this brush kind of has 2 flat sides, so I make sure that one of the flat side is directly lined up with my nail. I go right in the middle, push down to the cuticle, and then drag up. As you can see, my hand is shaking and it's pretty hard to do your dominant hand, but it is possible. So I'm just gonna let this dry for a few seconds before I paint my other hand. What's really awesome about this nail polish is you do not need a gel light for it to cure. It just cures with natural light. Okay, we're done with our first coat, so I'm just gonna let these dry for 2 to 5 minutes before I put the second coat on. Okay, so after those have dried for a little bit, you can lightly touch them and tell that they are dry, still a little tacky, and that you don't want to do anything with your hands right now, but they are ready for the second layer of polish. So with the first layer, the goal is kind of to make sure all of your nails covered all the way down to the cuticle. The goal for the second layer, at least what my goal is to just really make the color look better and fill in any gaps that you may have had. So for the second coat, I just start at the bottom and drag up. And sometimes it will look really choppy and not that pretty at first, but I assure you it will dry looking nice and smooth, and especially when we put that top coat on, it will look great. I'm gonna go ahead and let these dry, and I will see you back here in 10 minutes. Okay, so now that our nails have dried after the second layer of the color, it is time to put the top coat on. So this is the top coat by Sally Hansen Miracle Gel. And this is really what keeps your nails good for 1 to 2 weeks. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with my right hand just like I did with the color. And I'm just gonna go really, really slowly and focus on covering all of the color with this top coat. And then I'm going to do something called sealing the tips that I'll show you. I'm just gonna drag from the bottom to the top of my nail. And this top coat is so shiny, it's really easy to see where you have already painted and where you have not. So once I have covered my whole nail with the top coat, I use the side of the brush and I drag it over the edge of my nail. That way the polish is sealed around the tip of my nail. And so that way when I am doing daily things, washing dishes and using my hands, the polish is less likely to chip from the top. Top coat dry for at least 30 minutes before I do anything, but I try not to do any heavy cleaning or put gloves on or do dishes for a few hours. So I believe Sally Hansen says that this nail polish is supposed to stay chip free for about 2 weeks. I found that it lasts about 1 to 2 weeks for me. About at the 1 week point is when I notice it's chipping, sometimes sooner, really depending on what I do. I'm a nurse, so I do a lot with my hands and wash my hands all day over the 12-13 hour shift. I use a lot of hand sanitizer, and I've noticed that hand sanitizer seems to kind of take off the top layer of nail polish. So what I'll do sometimes between shifts is put another top coat on. However, a lot of times I'm lazy and don't do that, so they do start chipping after about 3 to 5 days. But if I'm careful with them, they do last over a week before chipping. And what's really awesome is when they do start to chip, it's just a little chip that comes off and it doesn't keep peeling off, which is really great, and I think that makes it stand out from other nail polishes. Okay, so once my nails have dried for a little bit, probably over an hour, and they feel nice and dry and not tacky at all, I go ahead and just run my hands under warm water, and this is how I get the polish that's on my skin off, and that's what makes them look really polished and perfect. So I get a washcloth and just rub it where I want to get the polish off. And this does a great job of getting the polish off of your skin without hurting your nails. So after you're done, all of that nail polish is gone from the skin, and the nail polish job looks really perfect and professional.